Hello everybody and welcome to the May 2022 update from Clydebridge station. It's being filmed actually on a very sunny 19th of May 2022. I've actually got my second lot of washing out. First of all, I want to thank the Go Glenrothes Facebook group and 3 other members of that Facebook group who shared the post I put upon that group of my video at the Glenrothes Model Railway show recently. I certainly enjoyed the show and it was great to meet a lot of people again, and I hope that those of you who have watched the video enjoyed it. If you haven't watched the video, there is a link in the top right hand corner of the screen which will take you to that video and you can see what the show was like. Now in this month's update, I'll be telling you about some work that I've done on the shed outside. I'll show you that. We've got some additions to the platforms that I built to my own design. We'll be talking about these. There'll be a before and after about these, how I'm going to actually improve the painting on them. What further work has been done on the retaining wall. I'll be showing you the progress that's been made on the back scene, on the street scene. And there's a couple of vehicles that have arrived on the layout as well. And cable trunking. We've got some replacement cable trunking installed. I'll show you that. Also show you another purchase that I got at the Glenrothes Model Railway show that's kind of helped with a problem that I've had with the siding that the Class 08 shunter sits on. And I've news about a future project which I'm going to try and get underway between now and the June update. So that's what's coming up. If you like what you see, please do subscribe to the channel and also to look at the Clydebridge Station Facebook page. In addition to all of that, I'll be name checking some layouts during this programme. Please check out those layouts as well, and I'll start off with the 2 usual suspects, Dean Park Station and Everard Junction, who have hundreds of thousands of followers, so please check them out anyway. And also I'll give a shout out to West Blyth MPD, set in the northeast of England, so check those layouts out. And we'll get underway with this month's update by going outside. I recently noticed that parts of the shed where the wood was were bowing a bit, oops, that you can just see there. So what I've done with some is that I filled it in, first of all with some polyfiller, but it was starting to crack. So with this stuff it's been put on rather crudely by me, but which I'm not too bothered about, is actually car body repair filler that I got out of Halfords. It's a bit more flexible. That took about half an hour to dry and then I painted over it, and indeed I've actually painted the whole shed as well. I'll just turn round here. So that's the shed being given a coat of paint and it's looking very nice again. So that'll actually do the shed probably for at least a couple of years, I would think, but I'll keep a check on that. I've still got one more shed to do and then that'll be that done in terms of painting the shed for this year. Next year it's going to be fences that'll get painted. I'm trying to alternate between the 2 of them. Sheds 1 year, fences another. But I'll see how I go. If I feel up to it, I might actually paint bits of fences this year. But that's the problem that I've had there with it, and it was quite important to actually get that done, otherwise it could have just got worse and water could have got into there. So that's something I would recommend. If you ever have this problem, as I say, I used exterior polyfiller, but I noticed it was stretching and cracking. Use car body repair filler. It's designed for use outside anyway, and it actually has a whole variety of uses inside the home as well. I actually used it to fill in a hole in the ceiling where a new light had been installed. Leave it for about half an hour, then put a little bit of diluted PVA on it, leave that for 24 hours, then paint over it and you wouldn't know the difference. as you'll have seen from the opening titles, we've got new opening titles, there's been a bit more work done on the street scene. We've also got this bit of back scene installed now, and I know it's bowing over a little bit, so I'm going to be working on that for the next update in June. And once again, the street view image, that is Bridge Street in Dunfermline city centre, looking up towards the High Street where the city centre pedestrianised section is. That building on the right there, out of interest, used to actually be a mother care. In the late 80s, when the Kingsgate Centre opened, mother care moved from there into the Kingsgate. It's actually now occupied, that branch of mother care in the Kingsgate, by Boots the Chemist. Street lamp installed there as well. And if we carry on further along, there's one of the new vehicles I purchased at the Glenrothes Model Rail Show. Typical for the layout, or the era that the layout's set in. We've got an Audi Quattro. Quite a classic car. I must say, as a child in the 80s, I idolised that car. As we move along, I've got the grey board finally from Scale Model Scenery, and that's allowed me to install the back scene all the way along here. Once again, we've used a street view image to make it look like the street is going forward. And this is Whitley Road in Whitley Bay. Carry on along there, and there's another set of crossroads. The road to the right is one-way Station Road, and it takes you down to Whitley Bay Metro Station. And that SS Health food shop, I actually remember that back in the day in 1991, on my first holiday in Whitley Bay, when it was in a discount store called Winners. Think something like Pound Stretcher and you'll get the idea. I put the photo of that on the Whitley Bay and Tynemouth Facebook group, and I did say to people there'd be something wrong if nobody in the group recognised it. Well, they did recognise it. And if you like the Whitley Bay and Tynemouth, or if you stay in the Whitley Bay and Tynemouth area, do go onto that Facebook group and join it, Whitley Bay and Tynemouth. I'll put the link in the description below. And I should point out as well that the items that I've used to make, like so the retaining wall and the grey boards for here, and also the stuff that I've used for the items I'm going to show you on the platform later on, the links to all of that are in the description below from the Scale Model Scenery website. I'll carry along, and you'll also notice that I've got street lights installed here. They're not operational, and they're by Bachmann. I must confess, when I was actually installing one of these, I held it not by the bottom, but by here, and I actually broke it. So it's a lesson that I learned there. I've glued them on with Yoo-Hoo, and I'm going to need probably 1, 2, 3 more there, and possibly one here as well. So maybe another pack of 4 for there. And eventually I'll need some for the other street scene that I've got down at the station entrance on the Rugby Union ground. Another bit has been installed here. That's actually the promenade in Bridlington, and I actually know the guy who used to own that shop. Hello, James. It gives a view there of this road going straight ahead, and the power station in the background. You've got the gasometer there for likes of a steelworks. There is actually an element of accuracy, believe it or not, by pure coincidence in all of this. When I called the layout Clydebridge, because actually there is a steelworks called Clydebridge, so there is a sort of element of, how can I put it, accidental accuracy, or coincidental accuracy. Now I'm going to go and turn to here, and I'm going to actually place the camera at an angle there, just for something different, because I've got a couple of things here. I've made this up, I'll just put that there. I've got this bit of walling here. Now what I'm going to do is, I'll get the camera back up and I'll show you what the plan is for here. This would sit along here, and it'll have a little bit of roof going on the top as well, and it'll be covered with some of the Scale Model Scenery industrial unit walling that you see on like the Halfords and B&Q over in the retail park area. The back scene will be here with the road going ahead, and this wall will go here, but this is going to come out. This rock face is going to come out, and it's going to be replaced with a retaining wall, and there'll be a bit of grey board sticking on there instead. Now the reason for that is it's simply to improve things, and it's going to actually simulate a low relief bus garage, and it'll have Kelvin Central buses branding put on it. This will obviously have to come out because it just does not look right at all, this rock face. David Watson from Dean Park Station did suggest to me to replace this with a retaining wall, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes. So that's my plan, is really just to work on this area next month and get that sorted out. The idea for the street view images on the back scene, well, that came from two layouts I would like you to check out. Both of them are N-gauge. You've got Shrewford, which is basically Shrewsbury, set in the sectorisation period, and you've got Warphampton, again also set in the sectorisation period. And if you're on Facebook, join the Scottish Railway Modellers Facebook group. Go and check that out as well. Now it's run by the Cooper Model Railway Club, and they'll be more than happy for you to join. Now I must confess I'm probably better at painting a shed than what I have been at painting these, and I think I know what's caused this. You can particularly see that there. Now what's actually caused it, I believe, is because I didn't clean the brush before I used it again. It got a bit hard and I thought I could get away with it. I can't. So when I was down this morning getting the car body repair filler at Halford's, I also got a can of art aerosol, and I've chosen a light blue colour similar to that one there, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these five out, and I'm going to go and spray them with the aerosol, and then later on in the video we'll come back and we'll have a look at what they've turned out like. I will point out to you, I will be doing it outside, but nonetheless I'll be wearing a mask and goggles when I'm doing it. When you're using aerosols, whether inside or outside, you should do the same. So I'll go and get these sprayed, and then we'll talk about something else and we'll take a look at them later on. Something else you'll have seen from the opening titles is the completion of the retaining wall here. This is the scale model scenery retaining wall sheets, which I've had to obviously adapt for my own purposes, and it's glued onto 1mm grey board. And how I've got it kept away from the shopping centre is I've got little offcuts of the grey board, and I've put stuck three together, one on top of each other, and then I glued them to the existing balsa wood that was there. I removed the rock face that was previously there, and which, to be honest, gave it a sort of half-finished look the way it was. I've also used some offcuts to make a bit of wall there. This bit here I can't really do anything about at the moment, but I'm working on a couple of ideas for it. The retaining wall is therefore now fully complete here, but I was speaking to David Watson at the Glenrothes Model Railway Show, and he has suggested once again that I replace this rock face with a retaining wall. Some of you may have seen the pictures I put on the Scottish Railway Modellers website, Facebook page, and the Railway Modellers Club that's run by Scale Model Scenery, where I used the Mark III sleeper, which is just here. And this is actually, that and Oxford Rail Mark IIIs in the push-pull set are the longest coaches I have in the layout. And I was working out a way to try and see if the coach would get round, because if the sleeper could get round, then anything, the Loop 47s and the other coaches would also get round. And it did get round. There was a bit of room to spare. The plan for the future of this is to cut away this rock face and to replace it with a retaining wall. In order to do that, I'm also going to have to use some angle, plastic angle, like what I've done on here, and it's going to have to be super glued on and bend round the curve there, so I could then stick supports onto it. That'll be basically these, and then the normal bits of retaining wall would slide into it. Why I'm doing it that way is if there was ever a problem, I could just pull the bits up. It had been suggested that I maybe move this wall here back, but obviously I've got Mum's memorial there. That means a lot to me. So I'm going to do it this other way instead. And then obviously after it's all done, we'll get extra scatter material down here. I'm also thinking about putting some graffiti on bits along here as well. So that's the plan there for the future with regards to retaining wall, is to cut this away. It's actually nailed on at points as well, so it's not going to be easy to take off. It'll just be a case of doing one bit at a time. Whilst we're also here, we have the first bit of the scale model scenery cable trunking installed. That's the Will stuff, which you can see here. You notice with the Will stuff, it doesn't go around curves very well. The scale model scenery stuff I've bent, and you can see little bits and joins, but it does actually go around the curves a bit better. It's a bit more flexible. I'll put a link up in the top right hand corner to show you Justin Noble from Scale Model Scenery building it. But when I was actually building mine, I noticed Justin Noble made a mistake. I'll come to that in a minute, because I made a mistake too when I installed the first bit along here. Well, I'll just lift this lid up a minute and I'll show you. See that thin bit that's underneath the lid? I actually glued it to the top side of the lid rather than the bottom side of the lid. Put that back there. So I had to rip up all of that bit there and redo it, so I've lost a bit of stuff. So I will be ordering more anyway. I knew I was going to need to order more. Again, link to this in the description below to this trunking that I've used. The trunking comes with these T-pieces, these junction pieces as well, which you can see have been built, some to a higher standard than others. The kit consists of your top, the top of the lids, two small narrow pieces, a base piece, two sides, and strips with the cables on a piece of paper. When Justin Noble built them, he used two narrow bits inside, putting the base on, and then he put two narrow bits on top before putting that on, and that meant he actually had to use a bit from the next section of cables trunking to put under the lids. I have noticed in the instructions that you only use the one bit on top of the base, not the two bits. And that's what I've done here. I've actually followed the instructions and not how Justin Noble filmed it. What I will do is when I come to install the next bit of cable trunking in the near future, I'll probably do it doing an update video. I'll show you building that. So this whole cable trunking here is going to go. There'll be a bit of grey board in there to cover over that hole there. More ballast down and get the ballast glued down. Safe to say that this corner here is now finished. So they always say layouts are never finished, they evolve. Well, I'm afraid to say this bit is now actually finished, he says very confidently. I mentioned there the Railway Modelers Club. It's got two tiers of membership. There's a free membership, which I'm in, or you can be a first class member for a monthly subscription. I've put the link to it in the description below so that you can actually check it out for yourself. If you want to, please join. It's a very welcome community. Now in a few minutes I'll be explaining this to you about the problem I've had here and how I think I might have be on the way to a solution. But before that, we're going to go back over to the station area because I'm going to show you something that I built to my own design. I've just been out to have a look at the brute trolleys that I've sprayed, and I've sprayed other sides of them, and we'll have a check of them in a little while again. Still plenty of time, they need to be dried. They'll probably need another coat. These are some new additions to the platforms, and they're actually to my own design. I watched a video of trains at Watford Junction in 1991 and I saw them and I thought I'm going to have a go at them. How I've built these planters is I used some spare scale module scenery walling like what you see there, and put the inside of them. I had 4 layers of thin grey board and put the bits round it all the way around, so we've got 2 ends and 2 sides. Put some of the gravel in, glued it down, left it for a couple of days, and then stuck a couple of scale model scenery daffodils in. This first one here was the prototype version, and Matthew Edwards, a mate of mine, suggested the side should go in, the ends should go inside the sides, so that's what I've done with the production versions, as it were. Just put them down here, and I might actually build a couple more for further up on the layout. But as I say, it was just spare stuff I had, and it's an interesting addition to the platforms, and it's brightened them up a little bit. Whilst I've been here, I've also been cleaning some of the track with a product called Track Magic, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes when I show you the problem at the siding. A couple other layouts to check out. Dudley Central here on YouTube and Instagram, and another one here on YouTube to check out is Jason, who runs Barnabas Junction. If you like your direct rail services, then Barnabas Junction is for you. So go and give him a check out. He's also on Facebook as well. Now we're going to turn our attention to that little problem at the depot with the Class 08 shunter. Okay, I've took the shunter out for a minute because I wanted to show you the problem that we've had here. It was basically getting no power along here, it was just losing power, the shunter. So I've done a couple of things. The first one is I've installed a couple of dropper wires there to try and increase the amount of power here. Secondly, I used a product called Track Magic, and I shall show you that right now. I'll just put it on top of the depot building here. I got that from the Scooney Hobbies stall at the Glenrothes Model Railway Show. It comes with this little device for narrow areas and on the contacts of locos wheels, the pipette to take it out of the bottle and into the cup, and the track cleaner rub sponge. David Watson gave me a good tip though. He said rather than use a track cleaning sponge, use a cotton bud instead and keep changing the cotton buds, and that's what I've done. I was actually quite amazed at some of the muck that come off it. So as you know, the Class 08 shunter I mentioned to you last month has been losing power going into here. I did run it over with Track Magic earlier in the week, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to just see if this is going to make any difference. This is where it would start to lose power. Wow! Now please, I said wow because that's the first time I've actually run that since I cleaned the wheels with the Track Magic, and I'm not kidding you, I've got a lot of muck off the tracks. I keep saying about how I'm going to get a Hornby rail cleaning coach, and I will do because I'll need that for the ramp and other bits, but that is absolutely incredible. And then it loses power here because the track hasn't been properly cleaned yet. So we'll just turn that, and I'm going to try and send them the other way. See, that was where it used to keep losing power. I'll just stop, and it's just lost power there now, and that bit's not been cleaned yet, but that was used Track Magic. It was Track Magic used to clean some of that there, and I got quite a bit of muck off it, so it certainly has made a bit of difference. I'm still thinking about putting a bit in here of dropper wire to increase the power output there as well, but if we run the shunter back again, as I say, this is used to stop there I'll just stop it there now. I'm really happy with that. So that was Track Magic. There is actually another one. It's made by a company up in the Highlands of Scotland called Loco Go, and it's very popular as well. It's very good. It's so popular it keeps selling out very quickly. So as I say, that's two of them that you could get, Loco Go or Track Magic. So it's certainly made a little bit of difference. Now another area which has had a problem with it is here on this side where my push-pull set is. So I don't know if this is going to do anything. I'm just going to stop that there because you can actually see I cleaned that bit all the way around and it's now picked it up. So what I think I'll do one day is I'll get all the trains out of the station and clean the whole track area with Track Magic. Well, that's where it's just losing power, the push-pull locomotive. When I'm on about the push-pull trains, by the way, a future video I'm going to do is actually telling you how to model the ScotRail Expresses or the Edinburgh Glasgow push-pulls. I did an article on the Class 27 formations for Traction magazine in 2012, and of course a couple of years ago I done a video on the story of the push-pulls, but I never really explained how it's best to model a push-pull, so I think that'll be a forthcoming video. One other addition I forgot to mention, this was another purchase at the Glenrothes Model Railway show. Now I got this and the Audi Quattro that I showed you from Cowdenbeath based All Tyre Models who were at the show, and it's a Ford Escort Mark II, again ideal for the period because there were still a few of these running around in 1989-1990 time. It's in a yellow colour which sort of matches the crash barrier there. So, did you hear the horn there from the train? Yep, it's right on time. Anyway, what we're going to do next obviously is the fence will be able to go up here. I might get that done for the June update and get it completed round here, and this all get replaced with new stuff too from Scale Model Scenery. So that's actually what's been happening there. Now we'll have a look at the brute trolleys in a minute, but I'm going to tell you about something else that, as you know, that I've got, and that's one of these yard lamps from Scale Model Scenery. And I'm thinking, folks, and I want your input here, one maybe here, one maybe here, because I'm thinking about covering all this bit up with concrete, and one here. Is 3 enough, or should I get a 4th one? I've only got one at the moment, so I'm going to put that over to you folks. You let me know what you think. And while I'm on about layouts, please check out on Twitter and Facebook Eden Road TMD. Ryan Gray from the Cooper Model Railway Club is the brains behind that layout, set in a fictional railway depot, and he had that on display recently at the Glenrothes Model Railway show, as you would have seen. So please go and check out Eden Road TMD. Right, let's go and have a look at these brute trolleys, shall we? I can still smell the paint off them, and I've actually been spraying them on an incinerator. Now, they are looking okay, but they're going to need another treatment, so that you could see the base of them could then get covered. But it actually looks a pretty good colour, and this is the one I chose, Art FX Spray Paint Blue. Now unfortunately I broke the lid there as I was putting it on, but look, doesn't matter. But if I could just point out to you here, extremely flammable aerosol, keep out of reach of children, use only outdoors or in a well ventilated area, wear protective gloves, protective clothing, eye protection, face protection, which is what I've been doing when I've been using it. Now what I'm going to do off camera is go and spray these again, and then what we'll do is we'll get them back in once they're dry, and we'll have a look at them and see what they're like, and see if we've actually finally got a mission accomplished and have correct looking brute trolleys. Right, I've gave them another spray and they're going to drive in the next few minutes, so we'll leave that for the moment. Just mention to you here, I've still got this problem here of the back scene. I've solved it over here by just simply pinning it onto this bracket here where the shelf is for the radio. So my plan is to actually put a block of wood there to hold that back, and then that'll be that done. So it's quite remarkable to say that this bit here is complete, but it's not. One mate of mine suggested putting a street view image of a road going along there, and possibly a retail park area there, so he's absolutely right, and that'll follow at a later date. I'll actually do that so we can get that done. It's going to be a little bit awkward to fit in, but look, I'm prepared to have a go, because these structures here, the B&Q and the Halfords, can be easily moved out if need be, but I'm prepared to have a go at it. The road itself could actually just go along there, and doesn't have to be too much, and a small retail park area there, so it doesn't have to be too much. And then we've got the rural landscape immediately after the town as well, so there is a lot to do there, but we'll get there. That's one thing, we'll get there. Obviously things like that are going to have to take their time to get done, but clearly the more that things are getting done, the more that complete, the more of a bit of a satisfaction that the job is done. And it was David Watson who once said layouts never complete, they just evolve. I could be begging to differ here, because this layout could be complete in the next couple of years, believe it or not. Whilst I'm back here at the back scene, I just want to mention to you, I had to actually take these out to get this bit on, and then had to re-glue them on, and that's what I had to do along here as well. Forgot to mention that to you. You don't notice that now, but everything you see along the back scene there is now complete. This street scene is not yet complete, of course. It still needs more lamp posts and the work there, and then this bit will be complete. Now, do you live in Essex? Check out Age of Discovery Band on Instagram and YouTube. A mate of mine, Jason Churn, is the lead singer in that band, so go and check them out, will you? They're just a new rock band that's formed in Essex, so please check them out. I'll put the link to their channel in the description below. Now, before we finish off this month's update, one last shout out. Check out on Instagram, Facebook, and I think he's on YouTube as well, Lakeside Parkway, so if you could check him out please as well. So to finish off this month's update, here we have a before and after shot. That's what they looked like with the old brush painting on, and that's what it's looked like with the aerosol painting on. Now if I compare it to the colour of the Bachmann trolleys, it's not an exact match, but it certainly looks a lot closer. I'm very happy with how that's turned out, and you could see the other four there. So these remaining three are also going to get done, and these Bachmann trolleys are actually going to go. They're no good anymore, and I'll use the scale model scenery ones instead. They're a lot more realistic looking, and once these three are all painted up into the Halfords aerosol colour, that'll be absolutely fantastic. So they're all ready to go. So what we'll do is we'll just get the parcel off of there. That's going down there, and that's going down there, and so they'll be done and ready for the June 2022 update, when there'll be a couple of other things done as well. So there'll be a couple of little bits of work to get done, and as I say, I've got that video on the ScotRail Expresses to make. What we'll do is we'll put two of them in there. Yep, they can sit there, and I'll take all these Bachmann ones off now. They're no good anymore. we go. So that certainly looks a lot better. So as I say, these are going to get the treatment. And these ones here, now these are the Bachmann ones that I painted up some time ago to look like W.H. Smith roll cages. I'm actually going to replace them with a couple of these ones, but I'm actually going to spray paint them using Halford's grey primer instead, or silver primer rather, so that'll make them look good. That's a job for the future though, not right now, but the other ones are all going to be surplus to requirements. So that's that for this month's update from Clydebridge Station. As I say, quite a lot of work to be done still on the way, but quite a bit has been done, and I say I'm quite happy with that track magic cleaner. I'm also quite happy with the back scene. Please do check out the layouts that I've mentioned to you. Please also check out Rugby Union Commentary's Smartest Dressed Man. He's on Twitter, and Nick Mullins, so check him out. And also, after he decided to wear a basketball jersey when he was a co-commentator with Nick Mullins in a recent European rugby match, check out Rugby Union Commentary's Worst Dressed Man, Ugo Monye. You'll find him on Twitter, Ugo Monye. Nick and myself both agreed it was certainly not a good style. Anyway, that's definitely it for this month. All that remains for me to do is to say thank you very much for watching. If you have any comments, queries, suggestions, please put them in the comments box below. Information on where else you can find this layout and some other videos coming up as well. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Please take care of yourselves, won't you, and enjoy your layouts, and we'll see you next month. Goodbye for now.